Hello and welcome to 2022 and our glutes and grounding yoga class. We're going to start this class in a supported bridge, so reclining onto your back onto the mat and placing a block or a book on its medium setting below your sacrum. So make sure it's not on the lower back, rather it's almost on the top of the butt cheeks there. Really try and project that chest up to the sky as you relax the arms down by the sides and start to feel yourself relaxing into the support of the block. So you may like to press down through the big toes, feeling that tension then come into the legs and the glutes. And then as you're ready, release it all. See if you can really use that to fully relax into the weight of the block. Try and notice if you've got any unconscious tension there that you're continuing to hold through the glutes, and allow the block to be that helpful support for you here to fully release down into it. Now, the glutes and the concept of grounding are actually really connected. Our glutes are in the region of our Muladhara chakra or our root chakra. Now, if you'd like to, you can bring some arm movements here. Arms extending up overhead on the inhale, coming into cactus position beside you on an exhale, undertaking a full round of breath here before extending them up overhead on your next inhale and down by your side on the next exhale. And you can continue with that pattern of arm movement if that feels good for you. But the glutes, as I said, are in the region of your Muladhara or root chakra, the perineum area of the body. So this chakra is actually the one that is connected with concepts of grounding and feeling settled in ourselves. So it's a nice thing to tap into as we start a new year after a 2021 that I think for many has been anything but grounded. So let's try and keep our awareness to this part of the body as we continue focusing on our glutes through this class, but really trying to tap into some of those concepts of grounding as well. So when you're ready here, you might like to extend your legs straight out in front of you, almost into a supported reverse plank style position, but again, keeping that intention to fully relax into the block, allowing that to support you here. All right, one more breath, inhale. On the exhale, coming back into that supported bridge position. And as you're ready, slowly raising the hips and removing the block out from under you, coming down into a resting position for a moment. We're going to now move into some activations of the glutes. So coming up, resting on your elbows. The legs are bent, feet on the floor, but there's a bit of distance between the feet. Okay, we're going to start to open the knees out to the sides, activating the glutes. In this movement here, you want to be careful about not opening up too far. You should be able to feel the activation through particularly the side of the glutes here. It's sort of a small movement, but you'll be able to feel if you're overextending that you're not getting that tension or that activation through the glute. It's important we strengthen the glutes. We spend a lot of our time sitting, letting other muscles around the glutes do the work for them. And sometimes we need to really consciously activate here. So after you've finished the next couple there, bring the knees into the chest, give yourselves a bit of a hug. And as you're ready, twisting them together over to the left into a really simple, easy twist. Again, try and release any tension through that part of the body as you relax down into this twist. Your next exhale, you're coming through center over to your right hand side, once again relaxing down here. Now that root chakra is associated with concepts of grounding, of coming into our body and of ourselves. And when things are a bit all over the place in the world, it can be a really lovely gift to give ourselves. Okay, as you're ready, on the exhale, coming back to the center and hugging your knees into your chest before coming up to a tabletop position. All right, steadying yourself now, wrists below the shoulders, knees below the hips, coming to a few rounds of cat and cow. So as you inhale, chest projects forward, coming into your cow, and then the exhale, curved back, coming into your cat. Keep flowing through those movements here. Really feeling that beautiful opening through the spine, which of course the glute is very much connected to. Okay, once again, we're going to start to activate through those glutes now. So we're going to bring the right knee out to the side to a 90 degree, 3 times into a fire hydrant or 90 degree tiger type movement. And then 3 donkey kicks, so kicking the legs straight up behind us, almost as if you were trying to implant the bottom of your foot onto the ceiling. Okay, this time we're going to do 1 of those fire hydrants or tigers and 1 donkey kick. Again, another fire hydrant, another donkey kick, and the 3rd fire hydrant or tiger move, and another donkey kick. Okay, we're going to complete that sequence on the other side. So 3 of those 90 degree tigers, and then 3 of those donkey kicks. And now you should feel the activation in both glutes, not just the left side in this case. Moving into the 3 rounds of single donkey kicks, fire hydrants and donkey kicks now. The opposite glute should actually be working to stabilize you as well. Okay, once you've done those, we're going to come back down into a really lovely, relaxing child's pose. And again, try and be aware of letting any tension through the glute or that region of the body go as you're taking those lovely, deep breaths into your child's pose. Okay, as you're ready, slowly making your way up once again into a tabletop position. Okay, this time we're going to come into a bird dog position. So the left leg extends out behind you and the right leg extends out in front of you. So feeling that stretch as you extend both of your limbs out as much as possible. As you exhale, we're going to bring the elbow and the knee in to meet each other, and then the inhale, extend out. So keep going there. As you exhale, the elbow and the knee come in to meet each other, and on the exhale, we come into that full range of stretch. Okay, on your next completed cycle, we're going to reach up and around with that right hand and kick that left foot up into it, almost as if we were in a very modified dancer's style shape. Great. On your next exhale, coming back down into your tabletop, and let's repeat that on the other side. So this time the right leg and the left arm stretching out and feeling that work through the glute here. You may want to, or you should, switch on the core as well as you come into moving your elbow and knee to touch one another in as you exhale, and extending those limbs out in front of you on the inhale. Okay, on the completion of your next cycle, you're going to, once again, with probably a little more grace than I just did there, come into your held position and feeling that through the glute, bringing that awareness to that part of the body in each of our movements today. Okay, coming back down into your tabletop and then extending your hands back to face your feet, moving forward and back slightly to give yourselves a little bit of a wrist stretch here. And when you're ready, coming into a nice restful child's pose once more. Our root chakra or our Muladhara chakra is associated with the colour red. It can be really nice for some people who are particularly visual to visualize a red colour coming into your body with the inhale, moving throughout your physical body and then coming out on the exhale. It might be really helpful to use that as a bit of a prompt for you. Okay, when you're ready, coming up into a standing position at the front of the mat, we're going to come into probably what is the most grounding of all asana in my view, Tadasana, mountain pose. So take a moment here to really find balance through your feet, making sure all 4 corners of each foot are grounding into the earth, making sure your pelvis area and glutes are aligned and you're standing up tall in that mountain pose. Raising those arms overhead and coming to prayer position at the center of the heart. Make sure that your chest is projecting forward to meet your hands as well. Okay, we're going to lift our left knee to our chest, come into a figure 4 and recline back as we stand in this figure 4 variation of Buttkatasana chair pose. When you're ready, lifting that knee up towards the chest and coming back down into a Crescent Lunge. Arms come up overhead and we come into a cactus variation of the arms as well, projecting that to chest forward. Grounding through the back foot. Now we're coming into Warrior 1 and really feel that grounding all the way down from the glute down the back leg as well. Let's bind those arms behind us, coming into Humble Warrior and making sure that we're not jutting out to the side with our right hip, that they're both hugging into the center line of the body here. So in every pose, we're really aware of that glute region of the body as we come back up, pivoting back into our Crescent Lunge pose. And as you're ready, reaching the hands forward, lowering the back leg, and once again into a lunge, but this time a low lunge with those T-shaped arms as well, moving them as we did earlier. Inhale, stretching them overhead, and exhale, coming to a T-shaped, cactus shape, next to your body. As you're ready, stepping up to that lunge, up to the front of the mat, and just a really gentle, preferably bent-kneed forward fold here. Okay, slowly rolling up to the top, once again into your beautiful Tadasana or mountain pose, feeling that grounding energy. Circle the arms up overhead, and we're repeating the exact same thing on the right hand side or on the other side. So coming into that figure 4 variation of chair. Your next inhale, the right knee's coming up to the chest and we step back into a Crescent Lunge. So lunges are obviously amazing for activating through the glutes and strengthening through the glutes. So try and use that strength through the glutes as you come into Warrior 1 as the means by which you can get length through the spine. So getting length through the spine requires strength to come from the lower portion of the body. Binding those arms, coming into Warrior 1. That strength and lift has to come from somewhere, and that really lovely strength through the legs and the glutes is what allows us to get that movement, flexibility and openness through the spine in a lot of these standing lunge-like poses. Okay, as we come back into Crescent Lunge, lowering that back knee down this time, arms overhead and coming into that movement with the breath if you'd like to. Cactus arms on the exhale, arms overhead on the inhale. Feeling that focus both physically and energetically into that lower portion of the body where our Muladhara chakra is located, and feel that around the full circumference of your physical body. Grounding the hands and stepping up now to the front of the mat. A really easy forward fold, bent legs if you can. Rolling up towards the top of the mat to a standing position, once again circling those arms overhead. Okay, once more we're going to bring the hands into the center of the chest, flowing a bit more quickly now. Figure 4, Buttkatasana chair pose, stepping back into our Crescent Lunge position, straight out into Warrior 1, binding those arms behind you, projecting the chest and coming forward into Humble Warrior, making sure once more that those glutes are both hugging into the center line of the mat. Great, up to Crescent Lunge again. And this time we're going to pivot ourselves around to face the left hand side of the mat, coming into a horse riding stance or a squat that is wide. Really feel that pushing out from the top of the thighs as well as we come into some pulses here. So we're going to do small pulses once again to activate and strengthen through the glutes. So try not to let those knees knock in together. We're really working to keep that alignment here. Okay, on your next one, coming up into a lunge, coming forward once more into that low lunge. Nice cactus arms to get openness through the thoracic. That lovely movement with the breath if you would like. And once again, you may like to use the color red as your visualization tool. Coming up into standing position once more, straight up into standing at the front of the mat. Okay, we're going to repeat that on the other side. Figure 4, Buttkatasana on the right hand side, lifting up back into Crescent Lunge. Once more, using that strength through the glutes to get that openness and lift through the spine, coming into Warrior 1, binding those arms behind you, forward into Humble Warrior, and again bringing a sense of concentration into ensuring the glutes hug into the center line. Great, up into our crescent once more, this time pivoting to the other side. Great, arms into prayer position at the center of the heart, a really strong horse riding stance, using the strength of the thighs, of the legs and of the glutes, and coming into your pulses now. So keep them small and quick. A few more here. Okay, and then coming up to a nice standing position, back down into that lovely low lunge. Circling the arms overhead, and that movement of the arms with the breath here, but once more feeling that strength and lift coming through the glutes. Stepping up to the front of the mat. Nice arm circle. And taking a moment here just to ground in. So releasing the arms down by your sides into Tadasana. Feel that sense of grounding coming up through the connection between your feet and the earth. Circling the arms overhead, folding forward, and stepping straight back with the left foot to a low lunge position. And then we're going to bring the right leg back and over into a cow face, or some might call it a shoelace position here. So make sure you're trying to even out the glutes here. You might need to move slightly around to get the position of the legs correct. Elongate up through the spine. It can be nice to hold onto the feet or the ankles, and if it's comfortable, you might like to bend forward. Now once more, bringing that attention to the glutes. So can you try and let go of any of that unconscious or conscious, even tensing through the glute area? Can you really try and direct the breath down into that part of the body, into the metaphysical location of the Muladhara Chakra? And in doing so, can you try and use that breath to bring about a really lovely sense of grounding? It helps to sort of navigate the perhaps not so grounding atmosphere of the world right now. Okay, slowly coming up, stepping that right foot back towards the front into that low lunge position once more. And now we're going to come into deer pose. So you're going to do a 90-degree position of both the front leg and the back leg. So take a second to try and even out the position of the hips and glutes here. Placing the palms on the ground and elongating up through the spine. You may then like to bend forward, or you can by all means stay in that more upright position. This is obviously a really lovely pose for actually releasing through the glutes, addressing some of the strengthening work you've done previously in this class. So take the opportunity to let that happen, to really let go of those glute muscles. Once more, using that breath, potentially that color red, to help direct some love into that part of the body. On your next exhale, coming up, slowly stepping yourselves forward and almost coming into a bit of a hamstring stretch with that back leg there, before coming up to a kneeling position, circling those arms overhead, and we're just going to simply swap sides here. So stepping the other foot back, the right foot back for most of us, into that low lunge, arms circle overhead. And finally, next coming into a cow face pose on the other side. So once more, taking a second to get the right position for you, either staying upright or bending on forward. Grounding, I think, for the first day of a new year is really important. It's a nice opportunity not to make New Year's resolutions necessarily, or to set ourselves up for things that are kind of arbitrary, but more to actually take a second to come into ourselves, to actually give ourselves a tiny bit of time in our bodies to let ourselves become aware of what it is we actually need and what might be good to serve us at this start of a new calendar year. So stepping up once more into that low lunge, circling those arms overhead before coming into that deer pose on the other side. When we rush from one thing to the next, we don't get that opportunity to come into our body and into our spirit, I guess you could say, in a way that's conscious and noticing, that's aware of what we need. And whilst we can do that anytime, the start of a new year is quite a lovely time to give ourselves the moment to reflect and to stop, to really notice what it is that we're feeling, what's going on for us, and what might be an intention or a goal that we'd like to pursue for the year that is to come. Might even be something around how we view it and talk to ourselves, how we place some priority on giving ourselves time to stop and to rest. Great. Coming forward once more into that slight runner's hamstring stretch before circling those arms overhead in your kneeling position. Taking a few moments here to really breathe and let yourself reflect and relax. Okay, we're going to come into our Malasana, yogic squat, which is almost the ultimate to activate through that root chakra. So really feel that perineum area of the body grounding down towards the earth. Feeling that openness come into that region of the body. Okay, as you're ready, slowly coming out of that yogic squat, laying down on your back, and once more, like we did at the beginning, hugging those knees in towards the chest. I'm going to come into a few different variations of bridge now. This time without the support of the block, although of course you're welcome to use that if you would like. So as you're ready, raising up into bridge, nestling those shoulders and binding those hands underneath you, and really feeling the strength coming through the legs and the glutes to ensure that your hips remain projecting up towards the sky. On your next exhale, we're going to roll down. Take a moment to just sort of windscreen wipe those knees from one side to the other. Before getting ready to prepare yourself to come into another bridge, so the feet are resting onto the earth, feeling that sense of grounding through the whole back of the body, lifting up into your bridge and resting your arms or nestling them underneath you. This time, if it's useful for you, you may like to lift the front of the feet so you're actually grounding through the heels. See what difference, if any, that makes to the need for you to really use that glute strength that you've worked on throughout the class to maintain the integrity of your bridge position. And as you're ready, bringing the feet down to rest on the earth and slowly lowering the spine down to rest back flat on the mat. You might like to now let your knees knock in towards one another as you take a moment to let all that stuff settle in. Okay, final time, raising those hip bones up towards the sky, nestling the shoulders, clasping the hands beneath you. And this time, if you'd like, we're going to do the opposite with our feet. We're going to lift the heels, press down and ground into the top or the toes of the feet. And once again, feel what difference, if any, that makes to your glutes in this pose. Is it requiring you to use that strength a little more, perhaps, to make sure that your hips are remaining at that height? Okay, one more deep breath here. Bring the feet back down to rest fully on the earth, and slowly lower yourselves down to rest fully down with legs extended on the mat. Big stretch of the full body with arms overhead before a really nice egg of the universe style hug to yourself. Okay, with those legs remaining as they are, nice easy twist over to the left. Some really nice breaths here. And on your next exhale, we're going to start bringing the legs in towards the center and over to the right hand side. Okay, inhale, exhale towards center. One more for good measure, really nice little hug of the knees towards the chest. And slowly release. Bring yourselves up before just readjusting and finding a really nice position for Shavasana. So everything extended, everything relaxed. This time letting the earth do the work for you. So you're fully letting go. There's no gripping through the butt cheeks or through the glutes. Consciously release them. See if you can scan up from your feet, all the way up your legs, through your body to feel if there's any other parts that are gripping on, and see if you can send that lovely message or intention to them to let go. Often for some of us, we unintentionally or unknowingly hold that in our face, in our jaw, in our forehead. If that's you, you might like to open and close your mouth. See if you can really release that through every aspect of your body and let that grounding energy of the floor or the earth beneath you support your body. You're more than welcome to pause this and continue your Shavasana, but if time is of the essence, you might like to raise your arms overhead, take that lovely full body stretch before coming onto one side, and as you're ready, coming up into a nice seated position. Lovely elongation through the spine as we bring our hands into the center of the heart. Thank you for taking a moment to ground yourself and to hopefully have a really lovely, calm and intentional start to 2022. Namaste.